Hey everyone, welcome to the Hair Transplant Mentor YouTube channel. My name is Joe Tillman, and if you don't know what a hair transplant mentor is, you can learn all about it at hairtransplantmentor.com. Today, we're doing hair transplant assessments. More specifically, I've decided to engage with you, the viewer, more directly, and I'm going to be answering, hopefully this might be a regular feature of this channel. I'm going to be engaging your comments directly, and that way not only can you, the person that's writing the comment, learn from this, those that might be in the same situation might also. So I'm going to be doing a different format for that as well, and without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And here we are. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be talking about comments from my YouTube channel, and we're going to be focusing in on this particular user. And he writes, "Genuine question, Joe. If using minoxidil and finasteride in conjunction with one another for 2 years has not halted my hair loss, how can I, in good faith, have a hair transplant surgery?" He goes on, "I would love to have such a surgery, but it seems as though because the pharmaceuticals have not halted my hair loss, I will continue to lose hair beyond the recipient areas. I will forever be playing catch up. I will either go broke due to needing more and more hair transplants or run out of donor hair and end up with a bad result. Please advise, as this never gets addressed. Neither surgeons nor doctors can recommend a viable course of action for those whose hair loss is not really stemmed by use of pharmaceuticals." He makes a second comment below that. "My hair loss has ruined my self-confidence to such an extent that I am now taking prescription medication for depression. That is why I do not regard there to be a viable alternative to getting a hair transplant. I simply cannot function with my hair as it is now." Then he goes on to thank me and talking about my videos, and that's very appreciated. Thank you very much. So I'm going to address, I'm going to start backwards because the last thing he was talking about was his depression, and he's taking prescription medication for his depression. And I need to caution anyone that is in a position where they're so down about their hair loss that they are prescribed antidepressants by their doctor. Whenever you're dealing with antidepressants, many times the side effects from those antidepressants can, in fact, be hair loss. And so what you're doing is you're potentially putting yourself into a position where you're exacerbating the very condition that's causing you so much anxiety to begin with. You're making it worse. So I would highly recommend that if you feel like you're depressed, or even if you're diagnosed as being depressed, and I'm not a doctor, but I would highly recommend that you discuss in depth this particular option and what it might do to exacerbate your issue. My personal feeling on antidepressants is that they cause more harm than good. There are many cases, obviously, where it has helped people, but for me personally, when I've been in situations where I felt like I was, in a depressed state, and people I know personally, they've turned to nutrition and exercise, because when you're upping your serotonin levels from exercise, and you're cleansing your body with really good quality intake nutrition, that can turn things around. You start to see things in a different light. So I won't get into that because that's preaching. But I just wanted to note that to this commenter, to the subscriber, that it's something to really look out for. So going back into his questions, he mentioned finasteride. Finasteride, when people usually mention finasteride to me, they're talking about generics. And I always encourage people to consider the name brands, because that's the baseline that generics are comparing themselves to. And in my experience, generics aren't as consistent. They can be as good, but many times, depends on the brand that you get, they're not as consistent as name brand. They're not held to the higher standard that name brand is. And some of you will disagree with me on that, and that's fine. But I've done my research on this extensively, and this evolved from my own experience dealing with thousands of patients and seeing how there is a difference between generics and name brands. So that said, I would recommend maybe considering name brand. Talk to your doctor about this, because I'm not a doctor, instead of generics. Minoxidil, it's minoxidil, especially for someone that looks like they've got your degree of hair loss, that looks like you're bordering a extreme Norwood 6-7 in there somewhere. It's not going to do anything. So I personally wouldn't even bother with that. But besides the pharmaceuticals, you can look at PRP, you can look at exosomes, you can look at the use of a laser cap. One of the callers into the show that I'm on, Spencer Coburn's The Bald Truth, his name's Morty, and he is in a situation similar to yours as far as your degree of hair loss, and he's taken the slow route where he's been trying the pharmaceuticals. He's tried the PRP with some success, and he believes that he's getting success from one of the cheap laser caps from China. You can get on Alibaba for like $150. I personally wouldn't waste $500, $800, $1,000 on a laser cap, because they're no different than what you can get yourself direct from China for a few $100, or you're in the UK, so a few £100. So consider that. As far as the surgery goes, you absolutely should not consider surgery right now, because you do have other options besides the pharmaceuticals. If it were me, I would not stop taking the pharmaceuticals. I would not stop taking or at least the finasteride. I would try to find, maybe experiment with the name brand, try that for 6 months, and then after that, if that's not working, maybe consider upping your dose. All of this is strictly dependent on what your doctor says. These are just ideas that I've had based on my experience. So talk to your doctor about that. I'm not a doctor. Never forget that. But then as far as the surgery goes, you can still have a decent surgery. It just depends on what your expectations are. So if you're looking for full coverage and this big coif of hair that you can style in any way you want, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen. Few guys that have your degree of loss can have a complete turnaround or what looks like a complete turnaround. It all depends on your donor area. So what I would recommend that you do is, first off, check your expectations. If you think you'd be happy with some sort of high hairline with moderate density in the front and maybe some sort of coverage to the vertex, which is above the crown, as a baseline, then maybe it could work out for you. Don't lose complete hope on that, but you have to be careful with it. You have to talk to doctors that have experience working with cases like yours, and beware of clinics that just straight up say, we can take care of it, not a problem, because usually if they seem like they're anxious to get you in the chair, they are, and you don't want to go to a clinic that's anxious to get you in the chair. Just use your best judgment on that. But I would recommend that you take a series of photographs, send them to, pick a bunch of different IAHRS member doctors, and get varying opinions on your situation, and go from there. You may have options. Like, it all depends on your donor supply. It depends on your age. Like, you didn't say how old you are in this, and also it depends on your finances, of course. Be aware of super cheap clinics. Don't shop on price, shop on quality, and deal with the pricing from there. So that's the end of that experiment. I'm probably going to do more. That one just kind of stuck out, and I was thinking about it today, and I thought, you know what, why not make a video? So tell me what you think. If you like this, make a comment down below, but of course also click that like button and make sure you're subscribed and you got notifications enabled for notifications when more videos like this and others come out soon. So thanks so much, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.